romantic or otherwise. Not that I hadn't tried. I felt ready to settle down and have kids around the age of 25 or 26. I had several long-term relationships in my 20s and 30s spanning 1 to 6 years. I was always upfront with men about my desire to get married and have multiple children. Several men said they wanted that too, with me. Every time, years would pass, and they still weren't ready. The men I connected with in my generation were often in some Peter Pan state of emotional cryogenics that made them want to have the freedom to date and sleep with as many people as possible without ever making a commitment. Polyamory and ethical non-monogamy were now a thing, which, cool, just not for me. Now I was single and 38 years old, and men my age were looking to have children with women in their 20s and early 30s. Meanwhile, I was still hitting snooze on my biological clock. Time was running out to pursue the one thing I've always known I wanted: to be a mom. And maybe, perhaps, something that big could actually be the catalyst for me to sort my life out, even if I had to do it alone. I shivered in spite of the summer heat. Nah, I told Avery. I could never do it on my own. But the idea wouldn't leave me. It was a whisper tickling the back of my skull as I tried to fall asleep for several nights in a row. Finally, a few days later, I was watering the flowers in the same garden, observing how beautifully they responded to my care and attention. And I had an epiphany. I could do it. I, Valerie Bauman, could have a baby on my own. No one could prevent me from pursuing this. No one was going to give me permission either. It was entirely my decision. I'm still not clear on why that was such a jarring realization, but it was. And from that moment, I knew I was going to go through with it. Making the decision was simple, but I never could have anticipated where this choice would take me or the lengths I would go to become a parent on my own terms. Nothing about finding a sperm donor or the journey to motherhood came easy for me. Chapter 1. Chasing Babies. They inseminate themselves in cars, public restrooms, and cheap motel rooms. They pray over urine-drenched sticks, guzzle supplements by the dozen, and sometimes have unprotected sex with men they've only just met on the internet, Facebook groups, or dating-like apps. Whatever it takes to make their baby dreams come true. What could possibly drive a woman out of the cool clinical embrace of the healthcare industry for one of the biggest medical decisions of her life? For some, it's the insurmountable costs imposed by the reproductive industry, or discrimination, or a lack of insurance coverage. Others just want to know the person who will help create their child. I am one of those women. Like most, I started out scrolling through the sperm bank websites, analyzing donor profiles and squinting at their baby pictures. I even made a color-coded spreadsheet, green for positive attributes, red for negative, and yellow for things that gave me pause. But like many women, I soon realized that sperm banks weren't the answer. Not for me. I wanted to know the person who would help me create my child, to be able to give my kid answers and insights into where they came from. This is a story of spitting in the face of virtually every cultural taboo around family, fertility, and procreation for the sake of making motherhood a reality. In July 2020, shortly after my revelation that I could become a mother on my own terms, I sat curled up on the couch, computer in my lap, compulsively scrolling through various sperm bank websites. Over several days, I built the spreadsheet entitled Babies. I added 19 columns that listed the characteristics I could find on each donor using whatever details the banks provided for free, and what I could glean from photos. Some of the characteristics were physical, height, weight, build. Eye color and hair color are always listed, but some banks even provide details on the donor's hair texture and thickness. Race and ethnicity were also included. I added the category of lips, largely based on what I could tell from available photos, purely because I'm a fan of full lips and got a little carried away with the spreadsheet. Other categories were more practical, including sperm motility and price, and whether the donor had any reported pregnancies or children of his own. Sometimes the gender of the donor's children was listed.